Today I'm going to walk you through one of the eat simple, 8 simple rules. I have these 8 simple rules. By the way, I use the word rule very loosely because I don't love diet rules. I'm not actually a rule follower at the best of times. I find rules to be kind of a drag, but also the rules of dieting are what have gotten us into this mess, quite frankly. So this idea that we need to be following the rules, and if we don't follow the rules, we're somehow failing and screwing up, it's just not working for us. So we're going to kind of soften the edges on the whole notion of rules here. But I have these eat simple, 8 simple rules, and I want to walk you through them one by one. So today we're starting with eat simple rule number 1. Always answer hunger with a meal. This is eat simple rule number 1. It underpins every other thing that I have my clients do. And there's so much beauty in this rule that I want to just describe to you here and see if it resonates with you or what comes up for you when you contemplate the idea of actually answering your hunger all the way with a meal. The reason why this is the foundational rule of my approach is mostly because I work with women who have been, whether they believe it or not, chronically dieting for most of their lives. Now, I have had conversations with women who say, well, I never really dieted. I never really went on a diet. But if you were even very hypervigilant about food, watching your fat, watching your carbs, kind of adjacently aware of your calories and making sure to exercise, to burn off things and earn things, then you have experienced a hypervigilance around food that is extremely common for women of our age. And when I say our age, I'm talking millennial, Gen X, women in their 40s, 50s, and even to the 60s to a certain extent. We just have been hypervigilant about food because it's our absolute baseline programming for food. We've never had a truly satiating relationship with food pretty much since we were kids. When you were a kid, you did answer hunger with a meal, and you did eat to satiety, and it all worked perfectly until the culture around food got its little tentacles on you and absorbed you in. This is sounding very creepy and sinister, but anyway, always answer hunger with a meal. Women who are trying to lose weight will often blame their own hunger signals for derailing them. And what they'll say is, I have a craving, I have an urge, I have a need, I'm snacky, I'm noshy, I'm nibbly. This language is all the language of hunger. A craving, an urge, rifling through the cupboards, looking for something. I just want a little something. I just need a little something crunchy, sweet, creamy, cold, whatever the thing is, the I need a little, the I just want a little. This is all a hunger signal. This is just a hungry body looking to be fed. And by the way, cravings take a toll on our weight loss goal because satisfying our urge for treats on a regular basis is adding about 11% extra unwanted calories in the average diet. Just by nibbling, noshing, snacking, finding something to eat. 11% extra calories over and above what your body maybe wanted or needed. Doesn't sound like a lot, but let's say you're eating an 1,800 calorie a day diet, which almost no woman that I meet is. But let's say you were. You're probably aiming for something lower. 1,800 calories might even sound horrifying to you, but it's actually a normal amount of food for an adult woman. So let's assume you're eating 1,800 calories a day. An extra 11% over and above that is 200 extra calories. And that's not a big deal unless this is happening every single day. And then that's adding up to 10 pounds of weight gain a year, right? Then that's kind of the rate of weight gain that women report. Like, I'm 40 years old, I now have 20 or 30 or 40 extra pounds on me. That didn't just happen, that crept up over time. If you can solve for the mindless nibbling and noshing, then you'd be effortlessly losing weight. You'd be dropping down 10 pounds a year. And I know that doesn't sound fast either, but nobody was in a hurry to gain weight. We have to kind of mellow out and be in less of a hurry to lose it as well, in my opinion. I'm not a person who favors any kind of restrictive beliefs around food, but if you have a weight loss goal, if you have a health goal, then deleting the snacky poos from your life is a massive play because the snacky poos are almost never truly healthy foods. They're usually something a little naughty. Maybe they're processed, very easy to overconsume. They make no dent at all on your satiety signal. So you're just having handfuls or little bowls full of things that aren't delivering you any nutrient density or satiety. And by the way, that's fine. Have your treats. Oh, please treat yourself to things that are not nutrient dense. I mean, life's too short, right? But I really do think that the habitual reaching for a little something, I just need a little something, is probably one of the things that's holding you back from your health and happiness goals. How could we appreciate our hunger signal rather than, first of all, fearing or trying to micromanage it? Like, if only I had better willpower, people will say. If I had better willpower, then I wouldn't be having these snacks. Well, willpower is by definition the act of ignoring your own hunger signal. You feel hungry, you want something, you have a want, and willpower is just don't want that. Just don't want it. Stop wanting, which is completely fine to say in theory, but it's very, very hard to execute in real life, because if the want is coming from a hunger signal that's been unanswered because you haven't been having sufficient meals, your body is literally hungry and asking you for more food, and you're perceiving it as a snack urge, but it's truly just simply hunger. And then you're going to say, I don't trust this hunger signal. I just ate my salad with chicken half an hour ago. How could I be hungry again? I don't know how anybody gets satiated from a salad with chicken, but anyway, unless there's like salmon also on the salad with chicken, which is how I play it out. If I'm going to have a salad, there's got to be 2 proteins on it, baby. Okay? Anyway, now you're feeling a hunger signal, a pure, simple hunger signal, which you're perceiving as a snack urge, but it's just hunger. And you're saying, I'm not going to be hungry right now. I reject you, hunger. I'm going to withstand you. I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to answer hunger. You're dead in the water. You're not going to out willpower your biology, your biological need for nourishment. If we're not sufficiently answering our nutrient needs at meal times, then it's going to come back to haunt us later at snack times. So just answer it at meal times, then you won't be a slave to the snacks. Only if you feel like you're a slave to the snacks. And one of the reasons why this is Eat Simple rule number 1 is because when I speak to women, they feel like a slave to their snacks. If only I wasn't eating all these little snacks, I would probably have a better chance at keeping tabs on my weight. Totally, because it's 11 extra % of calories you're not even accounting for. It's 11% extra calories. It offers no nutrient density or satiety. These are the things that really quieten hunger and cravings. If you deliver nutrient density and satiety, your cravings drop dramatically, but you're not dropping your cravings, you're feeding them along. You're just becoming a cravings monster by nibbling and nibbling and nibbling. So let's talk about the parameters of Eat Simple rule number 1. Always answer hunger with a meal. Seems pretty simple when you just perceive it literally. Always answer hunger with a meal. So number 1, always. Always. I push this down my clients' throats. I squeeze this into their brains because when you feel hunger, it's always correct. Even if it's at 9 o'clock at night, it's correct. Your body isn't playing with you. It's like, we didn't get enough nutrients today. I know it's 9 o'clock, but here's a hunger signal. Could you do us a solid and give us something to eat? Now, at 9 o'clock in front of the TV, you're probably going to go grab a bowl of chips or something. That's not what your body was asking for. It was not asking for a bowl of chips. It's asking you to just sufficiently nourish it all day long. So I just, first of all, want you to trust your hunger signal whenever it shows up. This freaks people out. Like, no, 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 no. I can't always answer my hunger because I'm always hungry. That's the whole point. If you're always hungry, it's because you're not adequately nourishing yourself when your body cues up a hunger signal. So it's time to start always trusting that hunger signal. Women really lack trust in their hunger signal / fear their hunger signal. That's so wrong. Oh, we're not doing that anymore. Out for 2025, fearing hunger. If you want to get a grip on your cravings and your snack urges, those are hunger cues. It's time to just accept them as hunger cues and answer them, but not with a snack, with a meal. Always answer hunger, whether that hunger shows up as pure hunger, hangry, snacky, nibbly, noshy, bored, emotional, tired, any of the things that you conflate with hunger. I'm not really hungry. I might be thirsty. Give me a break. I'm not hungry. I'm just bored. I'm not hungry. I'm just stressed. Like, it's hunger. Just go have a meal. A meal of food is different than a snack. Now, this is getting into the weeds of semantics, but a meal, as we're going to define it here, is a dish or plate of food that is put together with the intention of nourishing the body fully. A meal is a sit-down event of eating which involves a more substantial amount of food that is eaten until satiety is reached, which we'll talk about in a second. A snack is a small amount of food designed to knock the edge off hunger. A meal is a larger amount of food designed to fully satisfy hunger. That's the difference. Knocking the edge off your hunger simply limps it along. An hour later, an hour later, an hour later, an hour later. You think eating all day long is going to help you achieve your weight loss goals? It's not. Eating all day long, that grazing eating paradigm is really inappropriate for a human. We're not a grazing animal. It's really metabolically upside down for us to just graze all day long. I know your personal trainer told you to eat every 2 hours, but personal trainers are not nutrition experts. So let's stop taking their advice. And I say this as a 30-year fitness veteran, okay? A snack takes the edge off hunger and just pushes it down the line like an hour. And then you got to answer it again and answer it again. A meal answers hunger full stop, which brings me to the parenthetical at the end of this rule. Always answer hunger with a meal and eat to satiety. Yet another thing that women have no hot clue what it even is. Women are really disconnected from their own hunger signals because they'll say things like, I don't think I'm hungry. I shouldn't be hungry. I shouldn't be hungry. What does that even mean? According to what rule should you not be hungry? Yes, you should feel hunger. And they know what you should do. You should answer it all the way to satiety. That's what your body's waiting for you to do. It's been queuing up hunger signals since you were born and waiting for you to eat to satiety. When you were a baby, you did it. You sucked on the bottle or the nipple until you were full, and then you pushed away. And then you cried when you needed some more. You went to satiety, you pushed away. It really works perfectly until diet programming starts weaving itself into your brain. And then you decide you're not supposed to eat big meals because you're a lady. You're supposed to have little small 4 ounces of chicken and a freaking collagen coffee for breakfast. And these really, really small, non-nourishing, not satiating dribbles of food. Then we're wondering why we're such cravings monsters. It's because you're hungry. You know how to be less hungry? Feed yourself. I'm being tongue-in-cheek because I feel so passionately about this. Always answer hunger with a meal and eat all the way to satiety. Satiety, satiation. That's a big word. It's a weird word. It's a word people don't use. You might think of it as the word fullness, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I do anchor to the word satiety rather than fullness because fullness would sometimes describe feeling full in your stomach. Women hate that. We don't like feeling full. We don't like feeling big in our stomachs. Satiety is more of a feeling of, I don't want to eat another bite of this. Now, there's ways to make your meals more satiating so that you can get the satiety signal. We'll talk about that later. That's a subsequent rule. But when the body cues up hunger, it's waiting for you to give back a full satiety signal. It's waiting for the full satiety signal. If you don't deliver the full satiety signal at mealtime, you're just going to get a snack urge an hour later because the body said you didn't satiate. We got to get the satiety. Where's the satiety? It's going to keep asking and asking and asking for satiety. And you're going to keep not answering it. And what do you think is going to happen? It's not going away. You're not out willpowering this biology. So play nice with it. Say, okay, hunger, here's your satiety. I call this the handshake of metabolism. The body says hunger, you say satiety. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful thing metabolically. It solves a lot of problems metabolically. We start to get back into this rhythm. The body is like, oh, here we go. First time since infancy where this creature is answering hunger and going all the way, meeting all of its nutrient needs. The first time in decades it's been doing this. The body loves that. I really love it from the perspective of, as I've talked about many times already in this talk, managing your cravings. Because I know you say mean things about yourself when you think about your cravings. You say such mean things about what a degenerate you are because you crave things. You're just hungry. So we're going to knock that down. So you get to save those 11% extra calories, first of all, from you're not snacking as much anymore. So you're going to lose weight. But secondly, you're going to stop saying mean things to yourself, which I love and I live for. I want you to quit identifying as some kind of defective human. I'm a stress eater. I'm an emotional eater. I'm a mindless eater. Stop self-diagnosing with these pathologies. You're just hungry. Just answer hunger with a meal and eat to satiety. Just, she says, as though that's easy. I know it's going to feel hard for you. I hear this all the time from folks who start my program. They'll say, this feels like too much food, or this feels like so much food. Two very different statements, right? So much food is like, this feels very different from how I've eaten before. I've never eaten so much food. This so much food is like, I like that one better because it's a comparison to what you've been used to. And this person who says this feels like so much food is actually starting to think more critically like, was I eating enough before? This is so much. The too much food narrative is a little more, I would say, dysfunctional because it means that there's some magical amount of food that you're supposed to eat. Too much compared to what? It's like saying, this iPhone costs too much money. Well, too much compared to what? Too much is a now like kind of a societal judgment call. Too much compared to what? Compared to the 1,200 calories women are supposed to be eating? Well, that's not working for us. That's not enough food for a human. Too much compared to what your macro coach told you to eat? Your macro coach has no idea how much food you're supposed to eat. But you know who does? Your body. Your body knows how much exactly to the freaking decimal point how much nourishment you need, and it's queuing it up via a hunger signal waiting for you to answer it. And if you do that appropriately, you did it. So the too much pushback is like you're comparing this now to some external, extrinsic parameters as to how much you're supposed to eat, and those don't exist. The only parameters for nutrient needs you need to follow are the ones that come from inside you. I know that sounds crazy, but that's because you're a millennial or Gen X woman and you've never believed you're in your body. So it's time to start. But here's the deal. The word satiety is similar to the word satisfaction, satiation, satisfaction, similar words. I break them off a little differently. To me, satisfaction is like food enjoyment. Like that was great, that feels good. And satiety is you ate sufficiently. But the root of both of those words, S-A-T-E, sate, means enough. Enough. So you're not eating so much food. You're not eating too much food. You're eating enough food. Don't you think you deserve to eat enough food? I should hope so. I want to validate that for most people that I speak to, connecting to what their hunger feels like is hard because you haven't done that in a long time. Connecting to what satiety feels like is hard because you've probably not done that at all, ever. That's why you're so snacky. It's hard, but you can do it. You've done way harder things than this. And your body is actually waiting for you to answer hunger with a meal and eat to satiety.